Bernard, we're at your art shed. You want to let us come inside?
Yeah,
Yes,
show us
that's
your art. We're excited. Tell us about your art shed.
So the shed is under reno right now. So it is an in-between what it was and what it's going to become. And so this is, a makeshift little studio and gallery.
Yeah. Art shed in Isle of Mort, Route 470.
And as we come in, I make prints basically of Newfoundland scenes. And some of them are done from photos, some of them are done from live scenes that I've seen or taken with my camera.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the prints that I did between last year and this year. So you would have the Walter House in Isle of Mort, Ramier, a stage and a boat that someone spotted at a craft that we did in the valley, I think.
Yeah.
Perry Sary's boat in Rose Blanche that he sold because he switched in the type of fishing that he was doing.
Yeah.
A boat rotting away in the slipway. Chantney West, where they have stages that are now bed and breakfasts.
Oh, okay.
Amazingly enough. The Lark Harbor Dory, where was it? This right here. Lark Harbor Dory, which is a picture that someone here in Isle of Mort took while gone fishing, is the famous orange and green dory. Fogo Island, like days of yore, the way our mothers and grandmothers used to prepare food before there was Mary Brands.
Very nostalgic.
Couldn't here, there was a Isle of Mort Holy Spirit Church and the famous Winter Classic, which has been going on for 8 years, organized by Victor Lawrence and a whole bunch of volunteers.
So cool.
So that's been the original is still here in my house, and that's just the print.
Okay.
And yeah.
I have this one in my house.
Yes, yes, you being one of our first supporter.
Yeah, I think that's so cool. I did not know that.
Then, so some of the cards I reproduced then in smaller format to make it even more palatable and affordable at $5 a piece. And we have those same scenes that are on glossy or matte paper. And we have the fish series, which are now, I took the big ones out because they curl too much and it's so humid.
Yeah.
But we had birthday cards like Atlantic salmon, the cod, the brook trout, and so on.
Yeah, I got the cod one for
Yeah,
Father's Day.
those have had a relative success, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
But here, that's another difficulty. On the highway, it's very difficult. Very difficult for the people to stop and come.
Yeah.
I don't have a parking for, 20 cars like Rose Blanche Lighthouse or things like that. So it makes it a little bit more difficult for them to risk stopping on the highway and coming in. These are the series of abstracts. That some of them were made before and some of them, well, most of them have been made in the last 3 years when I moved here with my wife, who is from here. And we've given it a title of Balsam and Flotsam. And what is Balsam and Flotsam? That was a title that my wife came up with. And that is explained here, like balsam is aromatic and usually oily and resinous substance flowing from various plants. So basically whatever decomposes on the ground, on the beach. And flotsam is the wreckage of a ship and its cargo found floating on the water or washed up by the sea. So it's really, you could call it all kinds of, these are the rose bush in front of the house.
Okay.
An abstraction, sometimes I've got some kind of
I really like this one.
image. Yes, that's a photo of one of my ancestors in Maryland. And I picked that up on our chat and I just reproduced it. I thought it was so beautiful. Sunset with purples and reds and greens in the ground.
Yeah.
So sometimes, and our friend Bogdan in Rose Blanche titled, those little ones like brain droppings. Like sometimes you just, doodles. doodles are important, so important, you know, that's a doodle. So there's nobody waiting for this nowhere. It's just an exercise in having a couple of giggles and some fun. And it usually works all the time. So those are it. And then we come to, on this side, painting a little bit more serious, if you want, like the stages with the Holy Spirit's Church in the background. I think that's what they call Coley Island. I'm not sure, but I think one of my in-laws called it that name. Is that what they called it? And actually, it's the same stage. And now one has burned. I don't know if it was this, or I don't know where it is now, because I went there and took a picture and reproduced it. This was a house on the highway between Isle of Mort and Bernard, so we're not going to name names, but we know who that is.
I know, yeah.
And that's a boat, the first boat that's down on the slip that was there last year, so I don't know who that was, but that boat belongs to someone specifically. That's the Cape Anguille, I think. Not very far from here. I mean, part of our southwest coast with
so pretty.
Up through Colorado.
the lighthouse and some buildings around the lighthouse. So that's a field of dandelions. Why not? Dandelions are a lovely thing to paint. Again, if you want some sunshine. That's why when you came in with your yellow coat, yellow is very important. People say, well, how come your paintings are so vibrant? Maybe it's because we have more clouds than the average, and you want to make a jump to wake you up. Maybe that's why.
So Bernard, are they all acrylics? Do you paint
They're all acrylics. Everything that's here are acrylics. I used to do oil a long time ago, and I still have oil, and I would love to do it, but I don't have time right now.
Yeah.
But I would love to do it.
I feel like that about.
And I would love to do also what they call plein air.
I know. I was just going to ask you about that.
Yes, we should do plein air.
Oh, we are.
We should do plein air wherever. Any excuse to do plein air is so much vibrant.
We have a plan in the works.
You cannot miss. You cannot lie in plein air. It's all there, and it's just
it's
a
so
beautiful
real.
adventure. Yes.
So have you done, since you've been here, have you done any plein air?
No, I have not. No.
Oh, well,
I know
we'll
you
fix
have
that.
because
We got a plan for that.
Yeah,
in the works.
Yes.
Yeah.
And a portable little, watercolor kit or acrylic kit, and you just go and that's it.
It's so freeing, and it's just for yourself.
Yeah.
So we'll I'll move down here.
Yeah. So all this,
These ones. Oh.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. This is a little branches at Chisholm's Park. Just twigs at Chisholm's Park. Unbelievable. That's another beach scene that was back in Belleville where I stayed. I was living before I came here. Those are abstracts that go way back. This is, that's right in front of the house here. That is right on the highway in the winter. If you look out, that's what I saw that morning. I had one. Is it here? No, it's not here. That was kind of when we have storms where the power goes off.
Yep.
And it's really raging outside. Sometimes it looks a little bit like this.
Yeah.
You never know. It is going for you don't know if your house is going to be there in an hour or not. It is. So sometimes I try to paint those impressions that it leaves on you.
Yeah.
So it's just really exercises again to articulate your vocabulary in colors and composition.
So when you paint abstracts, Bernard, is it more of what you feel?
Oh yes.
Than what you see? Is it you see it first and you feel it and paint it?
Yes, but I mean, like this is a scene in the wood. This is branches. I was there.
Yes.
But I just do it without identifying anything. I just do it like what's the darkest, what's the lightest, and where are the branches, and what colors move me or have an effect on me. I like purples. I always like purples and browns. And I remember someone telling me. When I was at school, what's the color that you like the most? The least.
The least.
And I said brown. Well, he said, for the next 3 months, you're going to work in brown only.
Oh.
And I worked in brown, and I loved it.
Ah.
And since then, brown is one of my favorite color. Green also. Green
The
is so
earth
nice.
tones, yeah,
They're
and they
really
give
fun.
depth. They give depth to paintings. So
And the difference is, because I came here, it's funny, like 3 years ago, and I went to St. John's to see an exhibition of Clifford George.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you know
Yes.
who Clifford George is, but he is a giant in the visuals, and there's a film on Clifford
He
George.
did plein air in Twillingate, I believe.
Yes,
Yeah,
he
I
does
would
plein
love to
air
do that.
everywhere, every day,
Yeah.
and it's in acrylic. You got to be a magician to do plein air with acrylic because
Wow.
it dries up so quickly.
Really quickly, yeah.
But it is, it's a man that has gone through depression, and one day he looked at his shoes and he painted them red. He painted his red shoes. I don't know what color his shoes were, but he painted them red. And from that point on, his life changed, and he was attracted by color. And as I'm attracted by color, but I went to see his exhibition, and the color yellow. The color yellow is the color that is there that just lifts you up, and it's so important. To me, it's like, you cannot. Bogdan of Rose Blanche once said, you cannot make soup without putting dill. Because he's Polish and dill is a big herb there, and soup goes with dill hand in hand. Well, to me, you cannot paint without having yellow. Yellow is just like, essential. You need some yellow to lift you up.
Sunlight and white and vibrancy and happy.
Because basically, what are we doing? We're just trying to learn, it's like you're going to learn Spanish. So you're trying to learn the vocabulary to express yourself. That's what it is.
That's right.
And there's no better success than a series of failure. Because
You learn so much.
they're the ones that
That
teach,
makes me.
they're the
I
teachers.
take a big sigh when you say that.
They're the teachers. So they're the teachers of failure. Without failure, you're not learning anything.
I'm so excited for you. You have so many failures ahead of you.
Oh,
my friend.
God. I started
We've
to
had so many
sweat.
behind
Well,
us.
I started to sweat when he said that. I did.
So yeah, that's what. So this is a friend of mine who's a photographer. That Larry Taylor from Prince Edward County in Ontario, and near Belleville, and his pictures are absolutely outstanding. He's a photographer that always sees what you do not see and puts it in highlights it. And those were just branches there, but it was so. I looked at it, and maybe it was like I told you, the sequence, the golden rule.
Yes.
The golden rule where well, we talked about it.
Yeah,
so
we
I'm not
talked
gonna
about
talk
math and engineering. I was
Yeah,
telling them
yeah,
about
yeah. The proportions. What are the best proportions?
Yeah.
Where it flows, And you don't want to do. One easy one is to put a cross. A cross always attracts the view.
It has a focal point.
Yeah, it's the focal point. Like the Newfoundland flag is a good one. Consciously or unconsciously, you look at this, boom, boom. What is this? So that attracts you. That's a classic way. But then people start shifting, directing the composition that way, or you want to look at it that way and discover this and that.
But when you create something like this, you skew it because your eye needs to go everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's very simple, but for me, it's very relaxing.
Yeah.
When I look at this, it's almost like Zen,
Yeah,
It's,
I love it.
it-
And I love the colors, like the earth tones
Yeah,
are so soft.
the
But they're-
background was yellow.
But there's softness in it, but there's also strength in the dark colors.
Yes.
It is a beautiful
Because
balance.
that's another trick, if there is any, that you start with a yellow page. You paint everything yellow or amber,
Oh yeah. I've seen that.
or
Obviously
what's it
colored
called,
background.
mustard color, and then you work on top of that, and then you leave very few. But you couldn't do that putting it afterwards, but you can do that putting it before.
Yeah.
And many of your acrylics are transparent. Some of the pigments are transparent.
Yeah,
So when you paint with
yes,
transparent
yes,
acrylics,
yes,
you get a whole different look.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, glazing they call
Yeah.
it. Yeah, glaze. Yeah, you do glaze. Yeah.
Beautiful.
So there you have it.
Just a
you know.
tour of the art shed.
So yes, so it's very much well, we haven't talked about that, but like you guys to come up with something every day. what kind of bread are we selling today? You know, like garlic bread with spinach and olive oil. So and it's the bread of the day. So you always have to come up with something because people need bread every day. That's one thing you can't avoid.
And your creative mind needs to be fed as well.
Yeah, yeah. So it takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of preparation for the unknown, tolerance for maybe discouraged sometimes, failure.
And the patience to start over.
Or without calling it failure, lack of success in one
learning curve.
Yeah. So that's it. So that's why knitting. I think knitting, you can't go around knitting again there because that is a need that is. It's like what would you do if we didn't have anybody that knit?
Definitely,
those
are arts that started out of the necessity and have grown from there to some beautiful art, fiber arts.
Yep. Yeah. Like, what would we do if the bees didn't pollinate? Anything.
There's art in it all. Well, thank you very much for this little tour.
Yep.
No,
and we'll end it there.
Yep.
And then we'll have a chat. Now we'll have a chat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Bernard,
Yes.
welcome to Shed Talk.
We're happy to have you here.
That's why you giggle now, I understand.
We do a lot of that.
Yes!
So, Bernard, tell us a bit about your background. Where you come from, what you've done before you got here.
I guess it all started in 1970. No, it all started 2,000 years ago in a little town called Jerusalem. No, it all started in 1970. Yes, I had applied to go to high school and college, and there was a strike, a teacher strike, and the teacher strike lasted for the remainder of the year, and we were in February or something. So I quit school and I went to James Bay. To work on the building of roads for hydroelectric plant in Quebec. And then I came back and I started working in a glass factory. From all things, installing the windows and doors. And then in a glass factory where they made, those Tiffany lamps by the thousands in the 70s. And then from there, I continued to work in glass. I was actually working in a vegetarian restaurant because I had all kinds of odd jobs left and right, and I was young and frivolous like all of us. And I ended up in a vegetarian restaurant, and there were stained glass people that came to eat at that restaurant. So it further nourished my desire for stained glass. Then I applied for a job in a little studio. Then I applied to do for a studio in Old Montreal that did church windows. And then I applied to go to the biggest craft show indoors of North America with 450 exhibitors, and I did 2 years there. And I learned right there the basis of selling at a kiosk. And after 2 years, I never wanted to do it again. Because the lesson that it taught me is that the first year, I went for multiples, like, 50 jewelry boxes, 50 flower holders on the wall, 50 mini mirrors, 50 lamps, so you just sell of the same item, mass produced, night lights and stained glass and all that. And it worked marvelously. I sold out. In the first year, a rookie, they call it, I sold $7,000 of stuff.
Oh, good.
That was in 1979.
Yeah, that's good money.
Blow your mind.
Yeah.
The second year, I decided, that was really nice. Now I'm going to come with my own stuff, make my own designs and this and that. Total flop.
How old were you then?
I was 1979, 25 years old.
All right.
So, yes.
I need to see a picture of 25-year-old Bernard.
I have a couple of my studio.
Well, we'll have to put that in the video.
So that'll be for the next video. But So I just broke my teeth, like nothing, a total failure, disaster. I even had taken a registered number for a company,
Oh, right, yeah.
I wanted
Business
to
number,
start,
yeah.
business. So it taught me a lesson of humility, don't bite bigger than you can chew.
Yeah, true.
And, so I went to work for something else. And in my mind, I thought, I'm going to work in stained glass. Yes, I worked for 23 years in stained glass for somebody else. So they pay. And I have the fun of, on my off time, playing with it. And I did that. But then I came to Belleville. And I got married, and I'm no longer married in Belleville. And I divorced 6 years later. And then I was working in a library. I applied for a job in a library. I had to, pay the bills. So I was a property manager. Nothing to do with art. Nothing. So I worked 20 years as a municipal employee. Cut dry, work, kids,
So did you create during that time for your own pleasure at all?
I always had a little painting table that I did paintings on, and I did 2 exhibitions actually at the library gallery.
Oh, okay.
But then Melanie was my wife was working at the library as a librarian, and that's where we met. And then when I retired, we moved to Newfoundland. So I thought my dream was to go back and have a little shop where you get feedback. Feedback is important.
Very much.
You can create on your own, but feedback sometimes is so enlightening.
It's validation.
It's validation, encouraging, and because like the aim, like I was telling you when I heard that video this morning of Jim Cuddy, is to have a purpose and to have a purpose and leave a trace behind of your existence and to bring comfort to those distraught that need upper lifter, on a daily basis. Some people, like for instance, would post, something with flowers and sunrise and whatever, anything. To me, it's to celebrate the beauty. I mean, art does not have to be all gloom and doom.
No.
I always, some people do that.
Some people like the darkness.
Like the darkness, feed on the darkness, thrive in the darkness. That's what keeps them alive. You can't kill them for some reason. But I believe more the other direction,
Yes.
which is to live and thrive, daily. You've got vegetation, you've got nature staring at you. You don't even know it. You got birds, living creatures, and that are absolutely beautiful.
It is, and your art is gorgeous, and there's so much light in it.
Yeah.
As we talked about earlier, like the bright colors, we love it.
Beautiful.
So your process, do you just take your camera, go out, or?
Yeah, I take pictures. The problem, you see, you won't see it as much in what is, or would you say, figurative, but you see more in abstract that it's a bit like music. In order for a piece to move you, there has to be movement, but there also has to be silence. Silence is important. And unfortunately, if I criticize myself, I got too much movement, not enough silence. I can't seem to, quiet down.
So do you really silence to calmness?
Yes, to
Yeah.
yes,
Evenness,
where it pauses. Yes.
Yeah.
And I find that more in gigantic pieces, which we won't get into, but in bigger pieces, it gives you a chance to really let the space speak more and control your intervention. It's like, sometimes holding back tastes better.
It does.
Than just, going for the
interpretation. There's more in the interpretation than the intention sometimes, and the realism.
Yes. Yes. And, well, there's all kinds of theories on that. A flower will always be a flower. A house will always be a house. But you can translate emotion into the flower or the house with the colors, the shading, the tone, the hues. In the case of abstract, Yeah, it's like you almost can see the torment, the well-being, you know, the calm or whatever. Yeah, and all
So
those
your abstracts, obviously you create them for yourself.
more or less, yeah. It's
But
like
is your intent for others to see what you see in it, or what they see in it?
no, they never see the same thing as I see,
No.
and it doesn't really matter. I mean, they're just a living testimony of what's going on in my brain. That's all.
Are you like letting it all your emotion?
Yeah, and it's not really something that's made to sell. Although one of my daughters, one of my biggest fans, is ordering one big size painting right now. That's due in 2 months. That's just going to take back to home with her.
Wonderful.
And that is what she likes about me. She likes abstracts.
I
The
do
rest, yeah.
I love it.
What is descriptive, a little bit less. Because abstracts can be so many things. And depending on the light, if it's a sunshiny day or it's a dreary day,
Yeah.
it takes a total different expression. If it's lit, not lit, whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So
Often I find with abstracts, the more you look, the more you see.
yes,
But sometimes the first look is what you see.
yes.
And it's important to kind of hone in on that.
You know, like this here, this is very much like a vegetal nature scene. I mean, you know, water, greenery, all that. I mean, to me, that's someplace on earth, you know? It's not something
But when
foreign.
I look at that, like I see a cottage scene.
Yeah.
Like when I look at it, I actually see like swans in the water,
Yeah.
cottages in the background,
Yeah.
like and water lilies in the yellow, and
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
so
yeah,
it's and maybe it's in, you know,
I have
the
to-
feelings you're in when you
Yes.
look at it too, what you see.
I have a good friend of mine. Well, yeah, a friend of mine. That's what she does. She does something like that, and then she puts a little house in the corner.
There you go.
Like
This
So
one
the-
here that I said I really
Yeah.
liked, I thought it was, well, you can tell me, but I seen like it was a forest and tall trees, and it's
Oh,
the
yeah.
purple sky, and
yeah.
back the yellow, I kind of thought I saw like cottages in between the trees.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a sunset.
That's not what it is to
It's
you?
just yeah, it's a beautiful sunset. Is all
Okay.
it is. And beautiful sunset in the
Looks
woods.
like I could tell it's in the
Yeah,
woods.
yeah,
That's my
yeah,
favorite.
But that's the
Yeah.
beauty about abstract is
Yeah.
everybody's going to see something a little different.
Yes.
Yeah.
And some people see something totally different,
Well,
which
yeah.
is wonderful.
Yes. So, you know, and it's a bit reflected in the price, you know. Why can you have something like this at $25, but you have to pay $75 for something like this? It's because that is just a little bit more of the soul into it that went into it.
And it's original work.
And it's original work. It's the original, indeed, yes. And
I believe there's more value in original work.
Oh yeah, they're hard to let go.
Because you're letting go a piece of you that you won't ever get back.
Right?
yeah, and sometimes, like I said, you know, they're battles. You just, it's like, you know, when you, what is it, what do you say? Let's say you dropped a bowl of soup on the floor in the kitchen, and then you look at your floor and it looks like that, you know. You never know, but this is like, very often, those composition is, I just shoot all the colors, you know. What is your favorite color? No, but I don't want that one. Yeah, a bit of a rebel, you know. I was a bit of a rebel. Yeah, I think I was.
I'm pretty sure you were.
Yeah, in short, I was a rebel. And nobody, you know, like I would say, yeah, but in my mind, that's not how it was going to unfold. So you throw all that in there, and then it's you figure it out. You put some order in there. You put some balance in there. You put something to love in there, because right now it's just a pile of, you know, like throwing up or something. So that's the battle, to just then throw something that's dying and worthless and try to bring it to something that has a little bit of appeal or calming effect or whatever, a sense of balance.
From another direction, like how do you feel like framing a piece affects the piece, or should it? Or,
Yeah, not all pieces, you know, are framer. I have good friends that are framer. And they're not my friends because I ordered frames from them.
No.
Because I always think sometimes a frame, because why is it that you have frames that are more expensive than the art that's in them?
yeah.
Why would that be? I cannot explain that. That a bit frustrates me.
Me too.
And there's no reason for that.
Yeah.
some pieces will gain by being framed. It elevates them to, you know, gallery status or museum status.
What gallery framing does.
Yes.
The intent
Oh,
is
absolutely.
to really
You pay-
highlight the pieces.
Yeah, you pay big bucks, and
Yeah.
you know you have mats that are acid free and backing that is acid free and whatever. But first, I can't afford it. Second, here hard to find.
Yes.
And it's like finding a form of printing that is good. You know, is it going to be us? We're not going to fancy printing places like in Toronto where they, I don't know, 300 pixels per square inches
Yes.
and more, and what is it, the giclée they call it, and then it ends up on a thumb drive with. It's so big that you can't even look at it on your computer. So no, we don't do any of that because no, it's too much. So it's finding between Vistaprint,
Canva.
Canvas, Staples.
Yeah.
There's another one. What is it?
Yeah, there's a few. Yeah.
Poster Jack. Yeah,
Poster Jack.
it's
There's
just-
quite a few online.
that's it.
And the
So-
pricing is comparative, and it's affordable for us to
And it's
do
a
the
big
work.
challenge
Yeah.
because they all have a different system. You
Yeah.
know, when you send that from your computer, for I don't do any of that, by the way, because I don't have any talents in that era. That's all part of my lovely wife's contribution, and it drives her nuts, and I can understand why, because they say, well, you have about a quarter of an inch on the border there to stop shy, because that's where our white frame comes, and then you stop shy, and then the white frame comes way over or way not over. I mean, why?
Yeah, we have those challenges.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then and you keep on ordering the same from the same, and it never comes the same. How could that be? So you know what I'm saying?
Or you find something you really like the company that I
Yes.
put my
Yes.
art on. I'm just like, I'm staying here. I am content and happy, and I
Yeah.
know what I'm doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
And
there are subs that are working with what you have that are often or sometimes not up to what you would like it to be.
Yeah.
But you don't have any choice, so you try to go for the best compromise, like
Yeah.
the prints also, that's another thing, and I'm not afraid, the prints are not numbered. It goes,
Yeah, but they're not limited edition.
they're not limited edition,
no.
so, it goes how it goes. I mean,
Yes, and that's fine too.
You could have first generation, second generation, third generation of prints, and there might be slightly differences between them, but that's just the name
I
of the
find
game.
with framing is I have art that's been, professionally framed, and I have art that I frame myself, and I love them both. And but there's a big expense when it comes to framing, so it's a personal choice.
Yeah.
It's a personal choice. And does it enhance the art? It depends. It depends.
It's
And
so
what,
funny.
and what do you want it to look
And-
like?
Like my, I've seen my art in a nice big frame with a mat around a picture, and then I've also framed it myself with driftwood or lobster traplets, and I'm like, I kind of like that more. Just like rust stains and sharp edges, and
And all of us sell our art unframed. And
Yeah.
I think that's important because
Yeah.
whoever buys it, it's
Yeah.
their choice
Yeah,
how they
pick,
want
pick
to.
your frame. Yeah, you can have one at $12 at dollar store,
Yeah.
or you can go to framing shop in
$150.
or
Corner
you
Brook
can
at
just build your own
150.
even.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for
And,
sure.
Yeah.
yeah, that's what it is. That's another thing I wanted to talk about. It's the disposable cash that people that visit here, tourists, have. We tend to think, oh my God, they're coming, but it doesn't
We're
always.
waiting, we're waiting.
It does not always unfold that way.
No.
And the ones that come sometimes, they've gathered all their loose change in their drawers to come here, so they don't have much disposable cash, and they live their experience in a very frugal way. I mean, everybody prioritizes what they want, but for some it's food, for some it's accommodations, for some it's something else. What you have to pay to pass the gate at the lighthouse or whatever it is. But so when they come, I see myself. I don't see myself as I kind of wonder. You kind of wonder, actually, is it will you get more if you put your stuff on consignment and just stay home and stretch your legs and relax, or will you get more if you really get your shoulder at it and push, and be there and try to be here, there, and everywhere, and get the most bang for your buck?
Yeah.
I think it depends on where you are in your art life.
Yeah.
At that point, you and I are both retired.
Yeah.
So I've done the retail, and I'm sure you have as
Yeah.
well. So right now we want to stand behind our art, talk to our
Yes.
customer,
Yes.
and have that connection.
Yes.
And as young as you are, Miranda, you enjoy that too.
Yes.
You know. So I guess that's why we're doing what we're doing, by standing behind our art and being out there.
Yeah, I really, like you say, I see my role more of not even a medium player by any means. I see my role more as a contributor to some colors to enhance people's lives on a daily basis. I'm not here for that's why I say I don't paint for a living, I live for painting.
I like having a piece of your art knowing that you did it. Like, I like that. So,
That's
like,
good.
because I look at your painting and I'm like, that's Bernard's painting.
Yeah, that's it.
Right? So I think, like, people,
Yeah.
when they buy my art, even if it's on the form of a sweater, when they put it on, they're thinking about me.
Yes.
Yes, the artist.
So
So
that
that
is-
they're wearing it.
Yeah, so
I
I
agree
think
with
that's
that
also
too.
more validating.
It's
So
a
I think,
shaker and mover. Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
right?
because you have to have, like, it's not easy, like, go every day,
promote and sell.
yes,
So-
it's like a food stand outside, I often see, look at international food stalls in the street, and in particular in Asia, when they come and they unfold all this, and by the time they unfold it, which takes them about an hour and a half, they're a full-fledged restaurant with chairs and tables and what have you, the menu
Yeah.
long like this. And at the end of the day, at 8 o'clock at night or 10 o'clock at night, they pack it all in and go home and start over the morning after. How can you do that?
I don't know.
I mean, it's so
Yeah.
brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Oh
brutal.
my gosh! So
Yeah.
But I think
No.
for a lot of us too,
Very
we would
lucky.
love to have the traffic
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
And I suppose in the end we do this because it's our business.
I love
It's what we
people.
do. But yeah, but we love
I think you love people too. I love
Yeah.
talking to people.
We
You
love talking to people about what we do and selling directly to people with
Yes.
what we do. And we're talking about the word validation here. Like, the more traffic, the more interest in our art.
Yeah,
it's
feedback
more
is
what we're
always
doing
nice.
is
Feedback
worthwhile.
is so good. Yes.
We're going to create regardless,
I get lots
whether
of
there's people around.
Actually, I get lots of positive feedback from my family here.
Yeah.
My in-laws and all that. Lots of positive feedback. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's important. Yeah, it's important because
Do you feel there's a need to do more with tourism here on this
Oh,
coast?
no doubt, without a doubt. Advertising, marketing, just putting it out there, articulate it on a poster, on a pop-up, on Facebook, on the city's website. Just articulate it.
Absolutely.
Put it there.
Yeah.
It's, I don't want to talk about our town in particular, but, it's good to know when the water is cut off. It's good to know when the water is back on.
Yes.
Communication is the key. It's
Yeah.
the key in everything.
Yeah.
If you don't communicate, nothing will happen.
Yeah. And I think we have to be participants in that.
Participants, yes.
Yeah, we have to be participants, and because we have a vested interest.
Yes.
And
Good things happen to people
yeah.
who communicate.
Yeah.
So we gotta
And
communicate.
once
Yeah,
we
it is.
start
Yeah.
ourselves, getting together ourselves to talk about it. I
Because
think we'll do more.
nobody's going to come at you and say, beautiful, you're the eighth wonder of the world. We love you. I mean, we're behind you 100%, but then do nothing about it. I mean, it has to blossom somewhere, it has to. And the people that are appreciative are very appreciative. The people here that have seen it and what it does to them, it's fascinating, Whether it's just colors, just doodles and a piece of paper. I mean, we need colors. We need emotions in colors. It's vital,
Well, you certainly create that.
Yeah,
Your
I think
artist
that's what
people.
Shed Talk is going to be, though. It's
Yes.
definitely a place where we can have those conversations
Yes.
and communicate and get that out there. And see where all the, where it will lead us.
Yeah, I'm
Right?
only.
And I think the world needs to know, that the Southwest Coast has creativity.
Oh, a lot.
It has artists.
So much,
It has creators. It has makers.
I can't believe it. I keep
And there's-
finding more people.
Yes, everyone we talk to, and people are coming to us and having chats about what they do, and we'll do what we can to promote our artists and makers and crafters here.
We're
on the
all
Southwest
contributors,
Coast.
yeah. All for one for all, yeah. It's all one soup that needs everybody in order to be.
Oh, absolutely. I think the bigger
to feed the needy.
Yeah.
we grow together.
Yes.
Definitely.
And each of us, what we do is different.
Yeah.
And even if it's similar, it's still some difference, and we should celebrate each of our own growth in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the more you see, the more beneficial. Like you cannot. Art is important. It's important in the house. It's important outside the house. It's important everywhere. You blossom when you have art around you. It's.
Well, that's the thing. Your art inspires me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
that's
like,
fantastic.
it's not just about like
Yes.
I paint and Joanne paints and we all
Yes,
paint,
yes,
but like
yeah.
I look at your
You
art.
inspire me too. You inspire me
And your
too.
enthusiasm for it.
Yes.
Yeah, and your
I'm
passion
very-
for it.
And I will always be supportive of what you do because, you're just every day is a new challenge. Every day you come up with something. I mean, that's it. Some artists. There was a big Canadian artist, Alex Colville. He went in his studio every morning in a lab coat, a shirt and a tie, and every morning he went at it. And this is a serious business. He went in at his table. He went down for lunch. He went back up till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Went down for supper, and it was over. He was a very methodical, orderly man that produced some of the best art in Canadian history and recognized worldwide. But he was
Regimented.
he was regimented. He was very orderly and that's it.
And everybody creates differently.
Yeah, you see other people, like, I don't know if you've ever seen that, but the Basquiat, Jean-Michel Basquiat in New York, they started with graffitis in the subway.
Yeah.
And they became bigger than life in the anti-Warhol movement in the 70s. They just and you would look at this and you would say, what the hell is this about? But it's just a vivid expression. People don't do this repeatedly and for your whole life, not for a reason. There's a reason.
Well, when you step outside your comfort zone, that's
Yeah.
your best creativity.
Yes.
And when you paint for yourself, not whether it's going to sell or
Yes,
not,
there's a
Yep.
reason.
that's when you are your own artist.
Sometimes the more anxiety, the better.
Well,
I agree.
Yes.
In some parts, yeah. It's just-
Sometimes your best stuff comes out of moments of angst.
oh yeah.
That's it.
Definitely
You
pushes
need
you.
calm after the storm, and
Yeah.
you need the storm every once in a while.
Yeah, I
You
get
need
that.
both. Yes.
I feel it.
yeah, you do. You need those energies intermixing.
I get them all.
You got them all.
Yes.
My energies can match all these here at once.
Well, Shed Talk, when we created Shed Talk, we decided it should be about the art of anything and everything. Because everything has an art to it.
The art of my anxiety.
Yeah, everything has an art to it. And there's an essence in that art. And so we ask all our guests, what is the art in what you do? What is the essence?
Yeah, that's a good question. Just before that, I'm going to say something else. My brother once said, who's older than me, everyone has an older brother or an older sister that they emulate, for a certain time of your childhood, and after that, stay away from me. So anyway, that brother said, there's two ways to differentiate an artist from someone that's not an artist. In a way, we're all artists in our mind. We are all artists. I mean, we dream, we think,
We're all creative.
we see, we are subjected to, we subject other people to. But the difference is that person gets up in the morning and every morning puts it on paper. Puts it on paper, puts it on leather, puts it on a book, puts it in the music notes, puts it in whatever, on a sweatshirt, on a hoodie, on the driftwood. You do it. You do it. You give shape to what you're thinking. And that is action.
Yes.
Action. So that's vital, and that's something that we all have here in particular, because we're all trying to articulate it and put it in form that you can see.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's important. That is vital, and that's why artists. That's what artists are for, I think.
And for you,
so-
what
What makes what I make
makes you move forward in your art?
Subjected to is subjected to its sensations, being exposed to things, exposed to all kinds of things, being exposed to other people, being exposed to nature, being exposed to music, being exposed to whatever it may be, opera, dance, being exposed. And for that, there are artists that never come out of their house, but I believe in going out of your house.
Oh yeah.
You know, because it's nourishment. It's vegetables. It's it's a sane diet to be exposed to things. If you just shut down on yourself, then it becomes a monologue, an exercise in therapy, if you want. Because I don't think anybody is made to go through life alone, shuttered down in a bubble. I believe that experiences and memories and benefits come from exposing yourself to other elements. So yeah, you don't feel like going out, go out. You don't feel like going out for a walk, go for a walk. Walking the dog, walk the dog. See people. Be there for other people. That's because that will give you something that you didn't think it would give you, but it will. Even people that are needy or going through a rough time, it will give you something that you can utilize in being a witness of what life is all about.
Yes.
Really. There's always nourishment. There's always feed everywhere. Whether it's physical feed, whether it's emotional, touch, visual, hearing. It's all over. Sensations.
So you create through what you experience.
Absolutely.
When you're exposed to life.
Absolutely. And you try to, when you're happy, it's very nice. But when you're angry or pissed off, it's very nice as well. It's very nice on what's going to come out of it, and what you could learn from it. Because as I was saying, failure is the best teacher. It's not always easy. But, I have a son that just got his apartment at 22 years old and has been through a breakup and all that. It's painful, but, that's it. I mean, that's how you start experiencing about what life is about. And,
you do. So if you had to speak to new artists coming up, new creatives, when they're come up against a closed door, what would you say to them?
Gosh, just get back up or get back at the drawing table and try another door.
Yeah.
Yes, you have to, because nobody is going to come and say welcome. We got it all prepared for you. All you have to do is sit at the cash and just enjoy the benefits. Not going to happen. Never, never, never. It's actually, you'll realize after time that it's not even about the cash. It's about the motivation to pump the energy and the fuel in you to continue on. It's just like it becomes, that's why they say, it's not the objective that really matters, it's your journey. It is the journey. Whether whether you're successful or not successful, it is the journey. And success does not equate with your bank account, or the sales that you made at the end of the day. It's a visible success that seems to be, the essence, but it's not all about that. It's about, it made you move on to something else. It made you put a step forward, discover something else.
And without the business, you're going to paint anyway.
Yes.
It's just when you go at it as a business, you have to apply business analytics to it without a doubt, whether or not you can continue to do that.
Yeah.
Because the most success that I think maybe we've had, or that I've had, is where I've gone to shows with you guys. Those 5 shows
fun.
that we did between last year and this year were the were the places where
Yeah.
you know things stirred up the most. Why? Because there was movement of people,
Yeah.
exchange of ideas, impression, and this and that, and it
Yeah.
stimulated
Yeah.
the fact that I kind of like what you do. I kind of like your face too. I'm gonna buy one of those. Fantastic.
And I agree with that. Like
Buy
people
local.
connect to the artists. They
Yes,
want to meet
very
the
much so.
artists,
Very much
and we
so.
both sold art based on the fact we've had conversations with people,
Yes.
and you as well,
Yes.
because they understand you as an artist and what you're doing.
And buy local is important.
I think
particularly in our situation here,
Yeah.
Southwest Coast.
Yeah,
Local is the money stays in the community, and it generates some more good art and product that highlight the community.
it does. It
And the
does.
people, where do you buy that? And I don't want to do that. Where the hell is that? Yeah, between Porto and Rosebank.
And we've all had a lot of support from our community.
Yes,
And the
yes,
communities around us.
absolutely.
And there's a lot of people that want to help. We've reached out to municipalities, and they're
Yeah.
in it.
Yes.
Yep.
But we have to do a lot of the work
Oh yeah.
because
Yes.
they
Yeah.
don't have the time.
Well, it's most important
and,
to us too. So
And
it
we're the
just
ones
makes
that are
sense.
moving it forward.
Yeah.
So
As Mahatma Gandhi said, be the change you want to see.
yes, that's
So
right.
that's it.
Yeah, we can't just talk about
No.
it. We have to move forward with it. And
where are they? The government, the arts minister that's going to take care of us and give us some grants so that we can flourish. They're going to feed us on a daily basis. Well, if you ask for it, you might get a chance to get something.
And you have to educate yourself in it too. There are grants available out there. There
Yes.
is information out there. You just have to go
You gotta
and
look.
And if you
Yes.
can't figure it out, call somebody.
Some companies
There's-
hire people just to do that,
Yeah, they do.
just to get all those
And
offers.
I know with like NL Arts and
Too bad
you
this year
know,
was the big art in Newfoundland, because I would have taken next year rather than this year.
Yeah.
Giving you
Yeah.
more time to prepare.
yes.
Yeah.
But with NL Arts, I know like you can reach out to anybody there and they'll help you walk through all the grants and information that's
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
and the Writers Alliance in Newfoundland. There's a lot of support out there,
Yeah.
and if you can't figure it out through the websites, just pick up the phone.
I've never been to Botwood, but the murals in
Yes.
Botwood, oh my gosh, what a good idea that was, eh?
Yeah, yeah, it's beautiful.
How the hell did they
Well,
make that happen?
you talk about murals. Look at Port Basque.
Yes, oh my
You know,
gosh, oh
like,
my gosh, the
It's
newest
it's
one.
under.
Absolutely
You know, like,
unbelievable
yeah,
what
it
this
really
guy...
needs to be identified.
yes.
And that's obviously going to be
Yes.
one of our stories too at some point. And
yes.
just starting with that art alone, and
Yes.
it all comes down through the
What's
coast in
his
other
name
ways.
again? Poor guy.
Aubrey Wells.
Yeah, Aubrey
Yeah.
Wells, my gosh.
Yeah, he's
But
awesome.
there's some in Newfoundland, Ed Roche, or,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
all those people. Oh my gosh, it's a treasure.
Yeah.
Fortunately, as we know, Van Gogh never sold a painting while he was alive.
Never,
So
no.
maybe that's our lot too.
Van Gogh,
maybe
Van Gogh.
once we're gone,
Yeah,
then
I just say
everybody will
Van.
wanna buy our stuff.
I'm not gonna say his name.
There's controversy over the name, Van Gogh or Van
Van
Gogh.
Gogh or your Van Gogh.
Van, just Van to me.
That's it.
Yeah. Well, this was wonderful, Bernard.
Well,
Thank you so much
Thanks
for
taking
sitting
the
with
time.
us, and thank you for giving us
I
your
hope-
time.
Yeah, I hope you make sense of all of this.
Yeah,
Well,
we-
actually,
Not
I
sure
think
you
we
will,
learned a
but
lot
good luck.
more about you as an artist
Yeah, really.
and where your art comes from.
Yeah, I think the key word is passion. Not that I have passion, but the eagerness. Like my son has quoted me saying to him, "You got to be hungry. You got to be hungry. If you're not hungry, it's not going to happen.
Yeah,
you cannot
that's true.
just sit there and wait for praise.
No.
You got to be hungry. Take your 2 feet, take your phone, write some emails and make contact and create a network so that the feedback comes back.
Well, that's a wonderful message.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the word he just said? Not
Hungry.
hungry, but there was another one. Maybe just I was thinking the art of
Oh,
hunger.
Yes. Yeah.
Well,
The art of eagerness.
yeah. Well, I
Yeah,
think it's more
eagerness.
about what you talked about, like exposing color.
Yes.
Is the art of experiencing life and exposing color.
That sounds
Yeah.
pretty good.
And by being hungry, you'll ensure to have a meal every day.
Yeah.
That's it. Thank you very much. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Thank
Thanks
you.
so much,
Okay.
Bernard.
My neighbor.
Yes,
My
yes,
neighbor
yes,
too.
yes, yes,
We're all
yes.
neighbors here.
Yes, yes,
Route
yes.
470. Woo-hoo.
Thanks for coming. Yes, thanks for coming.